Hamparian.
Thank you, Chairman Rohrabacher, for your very powerful and principled leadership on this issue. Congressman Cicilline, Congressman Sherman, thank you as well. I've submitted a written statement, and we'll just touch on a few points in my spoken testimony. Last Tuesday's attack was at its heart not just an attack against Americans, but an attack on American values. The facts of the attack, as well as last year's assault at the Brookings Institute, are well known to the subcommittee, as is Turkey's record of aggression at home and abuse as well. As has been noted, I participated in the peaceful protest at Sheridan Circle and was a witness to the brutal assaults. I was able to videotape much of it and share it with CNN and the Associated Press and others. Rarely, if ever, has a foreign government's attack against peaceful protesters on American soil been so thoroughly documented or so well reported. Thankfully, as the chairman noted, because of viral video and social media, President Erdogan today is finding he can't sweep this under the rug or explain it away with the help of his PR people, his apologists, or his well-paid lobbyists. Having, by all accounts, ordered this attack, he's gone on the offensive now, calling in our ambassador and falsely accusing U.S. law enforcement of aggressive actions. What he ordered on the streets of our capital here in Washington, D.C., provides a small insight, but a very chilling insight into the depth and the depravity of the violence visited every day upon citizens in Turkey, out of our city and away from our cameras. Imagine how bad that is if this is what they're willing to do in Washington, D.C. These are the facts. This is pretty much where we are. We are, I think, as Americans, at a moment of reckoning on this issue. Not simply about Erdogan, but ourselves. We know who Erdogan is. Now it's time for him to understand who we are. This hearing, Mr. Chairman, is certainly about foreign policy. This is the Foreign Affairs Committee. But at a more fundamental level, it's about our shared commitment, our shared American commitment to our First Amendment and our freedoms. The question before us is, how will we respond to Ankara exporting its intolerance and violence to our shores? How will we respond to Erdogan's unapologetic attempt to bully Americans as he has bullied his own citizens? How will we answer Erdogan's arrogance? His attempts now, and these are disgraceful, to have Americans throw our people, our police, and even our principals under the bus to avoid offending his irrational and hateful sensitivities is simply unacceptable. We cannot do that to the brave officers who sought to defend the protesters or the Americans who simply sought to give voice to their views. The choice is ours. I would humbly and respectfully offer a couple of suggestions. One is that President Trump can break his silence on the issue and forcefully condemn this attack on peaceful protesters in our nation's capital. Our government, including our Department of Justice, should fully investigate and criminally prosecute the attackers, demanding that Turkey issue a blanket waiver of diplomatic immunity for all involved in this assault up and down the chain of command. Last Tuesday, let's be clear, last Tuesday was a crime. It was not a conflict. Multiple felonies committed on film in plain sight of U.S. law enforcement. The administration should, as Senator McCain and others have recommended, exercise our right to immediately expel Turkey's ambassador from the U.S. This would represent both an expression of our national outrage, but also a reaffirmation of our commitment to freedom of expression. Legislatively, we look forward to the passage of HRES 354, which the committee favorably reported this morning, and that has the support of the chairman and also the full committee chairman, Mr. Royce, and the bipartisan leadership of the House. We also, and this speaks to what Congressman Sherman said, we should also encourage the adoption of HRES 220, a bipartisan measure seeking simply to apply the lessons of Turkish genocide against the Armenians, the Greeks, the Assyrians, and other Christians in order to prevent future atrocities. Again, let's be very clear on this point. The same Recep Erdogan who attacks our people and disrespects our police is allowed to set U.S. policy on the Armenian genocide. This foreign dictator is the guy who green lights or stop lights whether or not America can speak out on a human rights issue, and that's disgraceful. He's been allowed, and this is disgraceful as well, President Erdogan has been allowed to revel in the spectacle of arm-twisting America into silence on a known case of genocide, documented in our own archives. He has bullied us into silence on our history, and now he has our values in his sights. It must stop, and it must stop here. In closing, let me thank you again, Chairman Rohrabacher, for your tremendous leadership on this issue. Let me also say that public scrutiny is the best remedy to these types of things, and for that reason, this hearing is so very welcome. Thank you, sir.